Hello folks, well before we get any further, it would be really great if you would hit like and subscribe down below. So click that thumbs up and then subscribe for more videos of these routes. So today's route just involves a bit of the Leeds Liverpool Canal, and we're starting in Hellifield, which is not far from Gargrave, and we head off up towards Otterburn Bridge, so it's a beautiful little national cycle route there, and then we head towards Gargrave, and part of that is really rough, but then from there we join the canal, we head down to Bank Newton, and then back along through the rural parts, through the Napa Valley, and then follow the main road and then cut back into Hellifield. So let's go and zoom in on South Yorkshire here, or North Yorkshire actually, part of Yorkshire. So we're starting in the village of Hellifield, somewhere around here. You'll see that we just cut off the main road there, and you don't really have to, you can start anywhere along there. We've worked our way up, we had a little look around a field, and then we work our way through from Hellifield up that beautiful road. It's very easy, it sort of follows the railway along, and then at Otterburn you take a short sort of left and immediate right again over the river, and then we follow that river all the way along. It's a really pretty part of the locality, and the river's really pretty, but then it starts to go off towards some farms, and once you get to that dogleg then it's really pretty rough, and this little section here, that straight one, is horrendous. Then we turn right and it's fairly rough and grim, but not too bad. Work our way through what feels like a river valley. It's actually an old road, until we get into the town of Gargrave. Recognise it by the wall on the right. Once we get onto Gargrave, we immediately, not far from JD Tandems, hit the Leeds Liverpool Canal, and we essentially head south. Follow it along. It's very pretty section. We do leave it where the river separates from it. Follow it all the way around, you get through this wiggly bit, and then the moment it finishes wiggling, we came off there, and at Bank Newton we stopped, had a bite to eat, a cup of coffee, and then, or a cup of tea and flapjack, and then we started heading back around through the countryside. And then at the last minute, when you get to the river, we jump over and join the road at Napa, and then we follow the main road, which is not over busy, towards Hellifield, but then we cut off right and take the back route into Hellifield rather than staying on the main road. So you're not on the main road for very long. Follow your way in past the Highland cows in the field, into the town, and then we're back to where we started. So nice little route, and you can see it's mostly countryside, right on the edge south of the Yorkshire Dales. So leave out of Hellifield, work your way around, follow the river into Gargrave through the rough bit, then down the canal all the way down, stop at the marina, and then work our way back across the countryside. Very pretty bit of countryside, and then suddenly at Napa hit the main road, and then back into Hellifield. It's about 16-17 miles, not too bad at all, but parts of it are rough, so just thought I'd lead you out. So here we are leaving Hellifield, and we're just off the main road there, and we turn up this little road, goes past a farm and a field with caravans in it. We had a little look around, hence a little wobble, and then we work our way up the hill. It's not very steep, very bucolic scenery, sheep and hedges, and we work our way around into the Yorkshire Dales National Park. There was a sign back there. And we're following down, and we get to the bridge, and I've put a little map there on the right that you can see that we're going to do a quick turn, and now we're just following along the edge of the river, heading south. Very, very pretty around here. This was around just before Easter It was raining, as you can tell by the quality of the road, but as we follow along here, we cut around. Now we're going to go over this little bridge, and then we're into the middle of nowhere, and it's not long up here. This road is pretty terrible in its quality, but don't worry about that, because that's nothing. We're going to turn left here, and now it's grim. We did actually fall off at one point. You can see just here, we just couldn't keep going. It was huge rocks, but if you've got a solo bike and you've got decent enough tyres, you probably can manage it, or you can just get off and push that little bit. Then you take that hard right and follow this road, and it's typical gravel and rocks and bits and pieces that you find on many roads around here, but it is still pretty rough. And then as we follow along and start to descend down, the water picks up in there. You can see there can be some trees down that we have to get past, and it's more like a river valley than a road, but it does actually take vehicles, and you can see that some vehicles have been along here. So pretty rough, over another fallen tree, and then down this track, and it gradually improves as we work our way along. But it's not till we come out at the end and follow this wall around that we're heading into Gargrave now, and then you almost immediately hit Gargrave and we turn straight onto the canal. So we're now going to follow the Leeds Liverpool Canal, and there are times when we just have to cross the main roads that pass it, but it's not a bad towpath at this point. It does go downhill in other places, but this was pretty good. Reasonable surface. Follow it along. You can see how wet it had been, and it was actually raining at the time. Then at this point you have to come up, go over some steps, just track down the road before you jump back onto the canal. So you follow it along, and then you just head back in through this gate, and off you go. From now until most of the way along, it's really just a muddy path that we're following, so not a proper towpath, but we work our way along. You can see it's a mixture of gravel and various other things, but mostly it's just cut through the grass. Had a good chat with some of the people in the canal boats. They seem to be very happy here. Edited that out. Work our way through, and then we stopped at that little part, had another little chat with somebody, continue to follow the canal along. Some great views to the left because it's raised up at this point, but this is where we're chicaning backwards and forwards, and there are a few gates with huge puddles around them. So we follow the canal along. You'll see the path has almost completely disappeared. And then we're going to start heading into some woodland, but there were some great views at that point. And there's occasional benches as well, but you can see we're chicaning backwards and forwards now. Quality of the path here is not brilliant. More gates because there's lots of sheep. Quite a few places to stop. The odd bench. And here it starts to get a little bit more wooded. And we get to that wonderful cherry tree there, and this is where we stopped and had a cup of tea and some flapjack, as is mandatory. Attacked by a swan. He was getting very hissy, probably because he had a nest somewhere. And there's a sort of boat yard stopping area, maintenance taking place here. And this is the point at which we left the canal and started to head back across land. So tea and flapjacks. So we headed out back, and then we turned left over the bridge, and we just work our way down here to a sort of triangle in the road, and you don't have to hit the main road, so you take the sort of the right turn just here, follow along, and just before we finish there's what looks like a footpath on the right, and you push your bike up there. It's unbelievably steep, sort of 45 degrees, but when you get to the top you get back on, and this, I think, or we assume, is the cycle path that's marked. You go back over the canal and then we're working our way through. Now it's pretty gravelly, pretty grim, and we went a long way up here, and you think surely nobody ever uses this, it just goes downhill. You can see a few tractor marks on the side, but we did actually meet a vehicle coming the other way, and you think to yourself, well, where's he come from? But I think he was looking after the pheasants that are kept down there. But it just gets worse and worse, the quality of this road. But it's good fun. I think if you've got the right tyres, it's not really a problem. But it is quite steep and incredibly wet and slippery where we were. So we get to the bottom here and you're basically almost up to your ankles in mud at places, but we stopped to have a little look at that house. And now, from now on, the roads are pretty good actually. So we get back onto this light tarmac, and it's mostly farm roads. You know, the usual potholes and things that you can expect on those sorts of tracks. But it's now getting a bit dark, but you follow along, just follow the route, and our GPX is available from our Komoot page, and we're working our way up here, and you can see that the road is alright. Now we're back onto a better quality road, and we'll use this to join the main road at Napa. But it's starting to rain quite heavily now. So now we're going to work our way through these back roads of the farms, and in great weather this would be absolutely beautiful, but as I say, it was getting a bit dark and a bit cold and a bit drizzly, but not very many cars. Now you can see how wet it's been, water pouring across the road. But we're going to leave this side road soon and pick up the main road at Napa, but before that we've just got to go over the river. So here we go, and now we've picked up this main road. It's downhill to begin with. It's quite pretty views actually, and you could see the bluebells were about to come out, but they hadn't. But we don't go huge distance down here, but just do be careful, it's not really suitable for young children. So you'll see that we're wearing high-vis. We always wear high-vis if we've got main roads involved. So it looks like the sun suddenly came out for a second. But we work our way along, and then not long up here we take the right turn, and this is the back road into Hellifield. We go back underneath the railway, through, round Hellifield, and then up to the T-junction here at the end. We turn right, and now we're back onto the high street. So that's a summary of our route, starting at Hellifield in the top left, work our way round. So it's mostly gravel and farm roads till we hit the canal, and then off. So if you want our route, our GPX is available from this page, which is our Paul and Diane on a Tandem page on Komoot. We'll post the video up there and link it through, and please remember to like and subscribe to everything. We'd be really pleased with that. But this is a great route, nice little circle, and it's not that hard to do, very easy, and at 16 to 17 miles I think you'll be through it in no time. So I'll leave you with this and look forward to seeing you on our next ride, where we're going to revisit the Swale Trail up in Swaledale in Richmond, near Richmond. Bye. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small. Way back before we blew